Yo, what's up everyone, and welcome to the 9th Formula 1 Grand Prix review on my stream and the YouTube channel. Now, as per usual on a Monday on the stream and on a YouTube video, we are going to take a look at a bunch of videos, discuss a bunch of things. We're then going to do a Reddit recap, and then we're checking out our F1 Fantasy and F1 Play. But first off, let's get into the live watch-along reactions from the Twitch streams. Yeah, I think Ocon's going to get knocked out here. That's pretty fucking surprising. He's having a stink a few weekends. What's a Ferrari doing? Why are Ferrari going out meds? Ferrari engineers. No cars. Okay, good. Oh no, oh no! Grid penalty for the Aston Martin. He's pissed. Oh, don't give yourself a grid penalty. Ricardo's not improving. I don't believe it. Yep, Ricardo sucks balls. Russell into huge one from 3, baby. No way he knocks out Bottas. Okay, both Ferraris out. Oh my lord, what are they doing? Ferrari are actually fucking clowns, dude. They're actually clowns. Well done, Russell. Well done. By 6 milliseconds as well. On the mediums! Oh my lord, I just realized. On the mediums! What are Ferrari doing? He just beat 2 Ferraris on the same time. And a Ricardo. Verstappen yellow. Where's Norris? Green. He's 11 milliseconds down on Verstappen. This is coming down to the last sector. Last corner. This is intense. No! 48 milliseconds. Holy shit. Perez at the P3. What can Mercedes do, though? Mercedes are yellow. What a starting grid for tomorrow. Where's Russell? Wow, dude. Russell coming over the line for a P9! And he'll start P8 with Vettel's penalty. That is it. What an insane quali, man. They're off. Quick start. Norris did not get past Max. Big lockup from someone. Gasly pressuring Hamilton, Bottas there. Gasly trying really hard to fight Bottas here. Gasly might get past Bottas. Nothing's happened yet. Nothing crazy yet. Gasly did not get past Bottas. Damn it. Oh no, what's happening to George? Safety car. Oh no. And Ocon's weekend goes from bad to worse. Oh, he has had a crash. All right, we get a bit of it. We get to calm down before we get all the chaos happening again. First off, what's that Alfa Romeo doing? And second off, how does his wheel break from that hit? Norris might get mugged off by Perez here. Good start from Perez. It's going to try and go around the outside of Lando Norris. Perez tries to get it done, but he gets pushed out wide. Oh, Hamilton getting in the mix. Hamilton! Oh, did he get end plate damage? Bottas gets past. Ricardo, great start right now. Up into P10. Perez still not passed. They're going to push each other off track here. Yeah. Oh, no, Norris, you fucking idiot. Oh, my lord. And Hamilton back past Bottas. Oh, my lord. Second Red Bull drive that corner. That pisses me off. I hate drivers who don't leave space there. Norris, what do you... How did Hamilton get P3? What? That's going to be a penalty as well. Absolutely zero room. Time penalty for Lando Norris. I want to see the onboard, but I think that's deserved. Meanwhile, Lewis Hamilton gets past him. Great job to Lando, though, for defending for 20 laps. I'll give him that. Really good work from Lando. Yeah, I mean, coming into the Grand Prix, I would have bet $1,000 on Max winning if it was good odds. Oh my god, what are you doing? Shut the fuck up, Paul di Resta. What are you saying? He was in front. What is Paul di Resta on about? Okay, this time Leclerc wasn't in front by the braking zone, but he was in front by the turn in the corner. Perez is clearly molding in the sort. What are these commentators saying? They're literally saying there shouldn't be overtaking. If you're not in front before the braking zone, you shouldn't overtake. That makes no sense. Leclerc's going for it. No, he's backing out this time, going for a switchback. Oh my god, not again! Guys, is this what you want? Is this what you want? Is this the wheel-to-wheel racing you want? This is for the person in chat who just said something about wheel-to-wheel racing. This is why the penalty system exists. If you don't have the penalty system, people will just be fucking pushing each other into the gravel like that constantly. Oh, he oversteered. But still, oh my lord. This is going to be one of those, this is just going to be by Bahrain. Everyone's going to be 50-50 on it. Hold position, Lewis has damage. Really? That's what it said. That's fucking dumb. Oh, Merc are doing something nice for Bottas. What the fuck? Are we living in 20... Wow, another penalty for Perez. Okay. Nah, once Hamilton loses DRS, he'll go. Yeah, so that right there. That is a prime example of where you don't own the corner. Oh, nice overtake. Good work, good work. Alonso, he's going to get it done here. He's going to get it done. No. Go for the switchback, Russell. Go, Big Daddy. No. No. Great defending up until then, though. Great work from Russell. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Alonso will smash it into a wall. It's fine. He's going to go around the outside. He's got it done. Nice. Good work. Great race from Sainz. Starting on the hards. But Sainz got to get in that 10 seconds of Perez now to get that P5. 9.7. Woo! He can do it. Gasly on Leclerc. Gasly's very, very close to Leclerc. Look at that. Yellow flag. Who for? Sector 2. What's happened? Raikkonen and Vettel have crashed. Well done, Max Verstappen. Raikkonen and Vettel have crashed. The race is going to end like that, I think. I think Sainz is going to get Perez. Well done, Valtteri Bottas. They haven't shown the crash. What is this fucking broadcasting? Stupid shit. Lando on the podium. Great work from him. Keeping off Hamilton and Perez. Is Sainz going to do it? Hello, can you show it? Show Sainz and Perez? That's fucking disgusting broadcasting. I'm actually going to cry. Well, and Raikkonen and Russell. Holy shit, boomer check. Was my man's drunk? What is that broadcasting? That was awful. We didn't even get to watch what was built up for 10 laps. Anyways, Max P1. That was a really, really good Grand Prix. Yeah, what a race it was. I mean, after an average race at Austria last week, the Styrian Grand Prix last week, we come to Austria, same track, same place, softer compounded tires, and yeah, much, much better race. So much to talk about. I can't wait to get into it. A few penalties and a lot of controversial decisions from the FIA this week. So yeah, keen to get into it. Let's start off with the race highlights. Lando said he wanted to get past Max as soon as possible, but he couldn't get it done. It was actually a very clean start compared to last week. Oh, actually, no, I forgot. Ocon gets fucking murdered. I forgot about that. I mean, I don't know what Giovinazzi's doing here. My man's literally sees 2 cars on his left, or should assume at least... He hasn't even left space for 1 car, let alone 2. And yeah, poor Ocon. I don't know how his wheel comes off from that. That's tough. I mean, his weekend goes from terrible to just a fucking disaster. These 4 fighting it out for a second was sick. And look at that. Perez fully alongside, passed in the braking zone, and then gets pushed out onto the gravel. That's so tough for Perez. Now look at this. Fully alongside. You cannot even see Lando Norris on his screen, in his view. You know, he's fully alongside, fully alongside, fully alongside, fully alongside, fully alongside, fully alongside, fully, and then he's get pushed down to gravel. Let's break down the penalties one by one. So this penalty for me, I think that's definitely deserved for Lando Norris. I see a lot of people saying, well, racing's racing, but you shouldn't be allowed to push someone out onto the gravel when they're fully alongside you. Now, we'll see other incidents later on where like Alonso was only 70% alongside, so he pulls out. But in this case, Perez was fully alongside, even somewhat in front in the braking zone at the turn-in point and on the after the apex of the corner, and Lando still pushing him out wide. I also see a lot of people saying, oh, you know, regardless if it's gravel or asphalt, shouldn't matter. And like, I do agree to some extent, but if you go back to the first corner here on the restart, the exact same thing happens. Perez is fully, oh, well, Lando gets in front here and squeezes Perez out. But, you know, that's fine. You don't consider that dangerous racing because there is room for Perez to go wide there and rejoin without losing a place. But at the end of the day, when we look at this incident where he gets pushed into the gravel, you're ruining this man's race, essentially, by putting him in the gravel. You deserve a 5-second penalty, especially if he's alongside. Other than this incident, Lando Norris had a fantastic race. He defended Hamilton for so many laps and then was doing so well with Bottas at the end there.
I want to see hard racing.
Shut the fuck up. 5-second penalty. Paul di Resta and Crofty's commentary was so weird for me this weekend because I was someone who agreed with the penalty. These two were just complaining about it for so long, and Paul di Resta gave his reasonings, but Crofty was just sitting there complaining about it, but not giving any examples why it shouldn't be the case, or why it shouldn't be a penalty and stuff like that. And I was just like, Crofty, you just sound like you're whining right now. Come on, dude. This is a really, really good midfield battle between these 4. And then here is the second incident. Now, I'll be honest, I feel way more strongly on this incident than the Lando one, purely because if you watch in the braking zone, this time though, in comparison to the Perez-Lando incident, the person on the outside wasn't alongside when braking. But look how far Leclerc gets ahead. very, very far ahead to the point where Perez easily sees him, right? I have to admit, Leclerc does turn him pretty early here. They bang wheels, but that's fine. You know, they bang wheels, they straighten back out, and Perez then proceeds to just push him off the road and use the curb as if Leclerc's not even there. Like, that's even worse than Lando's one, because I feel like Lando was aware Perez was there and then gave him the squeeze. Perez was obviously aware Leclerc was there, but didn't squeeze him, just fully shoved him off the track. And yeah, that was very dangerous in my opinion. And then again, Leclerc clawed his way back. He was having a really, really good race at this point. Fully alongside and gets pushed out wide. And Crofty says that that's Leclerc's fault. Going through the corner, I should say, you know, Leclerc's 75% alongside. On the exit of the corner, Leclerc's fully alongside. Easily. And then Perez pushes him into the gravel. It was fine margins though. Please show us an onboard. I feel like this incident, if you don't look at the other two incidents, you don't look at the Lando Perez one, you don't look at the Perez Leclerc one from before, if you just look at this incident by itself, I think this is a black and white flag. Reason being, it was a tough corner for Leclerc to be going around the outside, and Perez, I actually do think he did leave enough room. Very, very marginal. Very marginal to the point where it's rough racing. But the problem with this was Perez got a big snap of oversteer, as you can see. Yeah, that's a mistake. But at the end of the day, I do think he left before the oversteer enough room. But then he oversteered. I don't really know how I feel about a driver oversteering. You know, do you consider that a mistake? Do you consider that dangerous? In my opinion, I feel like that should be a black and white flag. But when you look at the context of the situation, Perez had it done to him, and Norris got a 5-second penalty, and then Perez did it to Leclerc, he got a 5-second penalty, and then he decides to do it again. In the context of the situation, the 5-second penalty is fair. But if you look at the incident by itself, I think it's a black and white flag for that one there. Leclerc said in a post-race interview or an interview after the race, that Perez went up to him and apologized, and also admitted that he was exaggerating his moves. So I guess for me, that's all I need to hear. All these penalties were very controversial from the weekend, and for me, all I needed to do was hear Perez admit that he was exaggerating the moves and exaggerating his defending for me to realize, like, yeah, he clearly was trying to push Leclerc out wide into the gravel. But yeah, good on Perez for apologizing. You know, he was obviously fucking frustrated. He got the penalties he deserved, in my opinion. It kind of fucked over Leclerc's race a little bit, because I feel like, I still think he would have got passed by Sainz, but I feel like he could have stayed in Perez's 10-second window, or at least held up Perez for a longer amount of time. I don't know. Who knows? It's all hindsight at the end of the day. Maybe if Perez didn't get pushed off the track, Leclerc would have had a worse race. Who knows? But yeah, it's just tough for both drivers, really. So yeah, then Hamilton gets damaged from some riding curbs way too much, and Bottas is told to yield. And what do you know? Typical Bottas. Apparently, I didn't hear this at the time, but apparently Bottas was told to yield, and he yields until he's given permission to pass, where he then gets it done pretty quickly. Here, Norris was not alongside in the braking, was not alongside in the turning point. Nowhere was he fully alongside, right? So if Lando decided to keep accelerating around the outside of Hamilton and then he got pushed on the gravel, that's Norris's fault. That is an incident where it's Norris's fault. The other two are not the driver on the outside's fault, because they were fully alongside at all times, in my opinion. What a race from Sainz, starting on the hards, getting up to into 6th. Now the broadcasting was so shit on this last lap. It was awful. For the whole Grand Prix, we've had this storyline build up between Norris fighting Bottas and Perez trying to pull a 10-second margin on Sainz, Ricciardo, Leclerc. We've also got Ricciardo and Sainz fighting, Leclerc trying to get back up to Ricciardo, Gasly really close to Leclerc. We also have these guys tussling down here. And what do the broadcasts do? They cut to Max Verstappen completing his lap. Cool. I understand if they show it for a second, or they put it in the little mini screen and Crofty commentates it for like 10 seconds and congratulates Max. They literally focused on Max for half a lap. We did not see the incident between Vettel and Raikkonen. We did not see anything. It was so, after such a good Grand Prix, all this build up for this last lap, and they didn't show any of it. That fucking pissed me off, man. So much. And this is just fucking stupid. Is Kimi Raikkonen drunk? He had 2 really stupid incidents this weekend. All right, let's do our usual driver rundown. There's actually not a lot of things that I want to talk about that weren't shown in this in the highlights. So obviously Max Verstappen comes home, wins the race by 17 seconds after pitting for fastest lap. That's such a dominant performance. And I see mixed messages on Twitter, and everyone can have their own opinion, obviously. I see people saying, oh my God, I love seeing Max win by this much. And it's like, wait, so you don't like seeing Mercedes win by this much, and you think Formula 1's boring as fuck, but you like seeing another driver win by 30, 40 seconds, and that's not boring to you? That kind of seems stupid to me. I'm a Formula 1 fan. I want to see close racing. I don't want to see a driver winning by 40 seconds. But hey, it's Red Bull's best track. They're completely dominant here. They completely deserve to win by that amount. And, you know, I'll cop a couple of races having Red Bull or Mercedes completely dominate if the rest of the Grand Prix is good as well. You know, we've had 9 Grand Prix this season, and 6 of them have had a championship fight, and 2 of them have just been Red Bull dominant. You know, I can't complain at all about Formula 1 being too spread or whatever, because, you know, it's 2 outliers in a season of 22 races. Oh my God, Red Bull is so dominant. They're going to win the championship easy. Oh my God, the rest of the season is going to be so dominant. 2 things. 1, this is Red Bull Ring. This is Red Bull's best track of the entire season. It's been their such a good track for them for years now. And now they're the best team on the grid. Of course, they're going to dominate here. The other thing not a lot of people know is you're not allowed to upgrade your power unit unless you have an issue with it this season. That's a new rule for this season. So Red Bull had an issue with its power unit a few weeks back, and they were able to bring in new power units that had upgrades. Apparently, according to Sam Collins, this was 13 horsepower improvement. Now, Mercedes haven't had an issue with their power unit yet, so they aren't able to improve it. But coming to the British Grand Prix, maybe they will, maybe they won't, who knows. So yeah, that's another thing. Anyways, next driver, Bottas. Good race from him. I mean, obviously he got lucky with Hamilton breaking down and Norris getting a 5-second penalty, but you know, props where props due. He finished in P2 when he needed to. Norris, fantastic race. Obviously a deserved 5-second penalty costing a second place, but he had such a good drive. I mean, holding off Hamilton for so long, keeping up with Bottas, that was just fantastic. Not much to say about Lewis Hamilton. He hates this track. He whinges about it more than I think he should. And yeah, he gave himself damage on curbs and got 4th place. Average race from Lewis, I guess. Carlos Sainz starting P11, I believe, on the hards. Great strategy. Also staying in that 10-second penalty range of Perez. Great work. Great points for Ferrari and the constructors. Perez, I mean, obviously, you never knew what he was going to be able to achieve after getting, if it wasn't for getting pushed off the track by Norris. I think he would have maybe come home in a nice P2, but yeah, he did a good job coming back from, I think it was like 11th when he got pushed off, back to 6th. Would have been 5th if it wasn't for the penalties, but then again, he, you know, it's deserved penalties. Ricciardo, good race, starting P13, I think it was, and coming home in 7th. I see a lot of people praising Ricciardo, like, he's back again, he's back. You know, the typical one race, we're going to start saying Ricciardo's back after having 7 races of poo. But yeah, he did have a good race, but let's keep in mind, he made up a lot of places off the start due to, yeah, just off the start. I mean, his race pace still wasn't entirely there. I mean, he did get a little bit lucky off the start, but it was a good race regardless. Leclerc having, it was a good race at one point, but then his teammate on the opposite strategy got past him. He got obviously very cucked by Perez, pushing off track twice. I was a bit disappointed he missed out on Ricciardo, but he probably would have got Ricciardo if it wasn't for getting pushed off track. So who knows? It's still a good race from Leclerc. Gasly, I mean, he was he finished the highest out of all the guys who started on softs. That was just an awful strategy. So he did good to come home in P9. Then we got Russell just missing out on points, 11th place. He had an awful start, but he did pretty good to be able to keep 11th in the end. But yeah, it is what it is. He'll get his point eventually. Raikkonen, don't know what the fuck he's up to. These aren't the exact finishing positions, just because I got to be a little bit back. But yeah, Raikkonen and Vettel kind of having that collision. They dropped down the field quite a lot. Tsunoda crossing the pit line, doing the same thing twice, getting 2 5-second penalties. I don't even know how that happens. Yeah, pretty meh race from Tsunoda. Stroll, yeah, that soft, starting on the softs is just fucking awful. Nothing was going for him. Giovinazzi got a 5-second penalty for passing under the safety car. Latifi beat the 2 Haas's again. Schumacher beat his teammate. Not much really happening at the back end, and obviously Ocon having a terrible weekend, but it wasn't really his fault, that incident, at all. So I forgot to talk about my driver of the day earlier. It's actually kind of a hard one this week. I mean, Max Verstappen obviously dominated. Bottas had a pretty good race. Norris had a fantastic race, but I mean, he got a 5-second penalty pushing someone off track. But he also didn't make up many positions either, even though he had a good race. Carlos made up a lot of positions. Yeah, it's really hard to decide who's driver of the day. Ultimately, for me, it would be between Lando Norris and Sainz. I can't really decide. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Charles had a good race and Ricciardo had a good race, making up a lot of positions, but they didn't really end with as high potential as they could have. Sainz finished in a great position. That's why I think he's one of my driver of the days. I mean, and Norris had a really, really good race. I'm trying to think. Lando Norris had a great race, but that 5-second penalty obviously cost him, and that incident, yeah, with Perez kind of just slightly let him down. They're like dead even for me, so I'm just going to go with Sainz, driver of the day for me this week.
He got a penalty as well.
Oh, so now they tell him after pushing the clear off track twice. Okay.
Should be annoyed Lander. It was a good race from you, man. Just made one little mistake, which gave you a 5-second pin.
Due to some damage on the floor, it's not really anything I could do about it, but definitely
don't drive on the curbs like an idiot. Yeah, with Gasly, he's annoyed that he didn't get Charles, and like obviously, you know, drivers always hold themselves to high standards, but like he's really pissed he didn't get Charles. But Gasly needs to keep in mind, like 9th was probably the best he was going to get this weekend anyway. Like the only reason he was even anywhere near Charles was because he was taken out because Charles was pushed off track twice, you know what I mean? All right, let's get into a Reddit recap. So top of the week, let's have a look-see, and we'll go down to the 2.5k upvoted range. These burnout lines gonna leave a mark of this amazing season of Formula One. That's true here. Max Verstappen's little skids from last week. Hamilton is in the simulator again, dude. After saying he wasn't gonna be in the, he's not been in the simulator a while. He doesn't really use it. He's been in it week after week, the last couple of weeks. So obviously wanting to do much better for the for himself and the team. Alonso after taking P10 from Russell. This is what I was talking about earlier. I feel bad for George. When I saw it was him and P10, I thought any driver but George. Yeah, Alonso disappointed that he had to overtake Russell for a point.
Such a great driver, Lando.
It was nice but strange because it was nice because, you know, he's giving respect to another driver, but it was strange because it was like I've not really seen another driver do that during a race. I don't know. Fun little fact: the Red Bull racing trucks have their Renault logos removed. Interesting. Vettel was handing out flower seeds in the TV pen today between Austrian races. He stayed local and worked with a group of kids to install a racing car in a field. They'll act as a bee hotel to give bees more space where they can flourish. Oh, shout out Seb, dude. What a ledge. Give bees a chance. My man. Yes, big news over the weekend. Lewis Hamilton decides to re-sign to Mercedes for another 2 years, meaning he will be at the team until 2023, end of 2023. As a Formula 1 fan, this is fantastic. I mean, I love to see the best competing in the best cars against the best, and obviously Lewis Hamilton, 7-time world champion. Yeah, I mean, I know there's probably people out there like, no, why isn't he retiring? It's like, do you not want to see the best of the best? Like, do you not want to see Max Verstappen beat the best? Do you not want to see Russell beat the best? Lando beat the best? Anyone who just wants Lewis gone from the sport is clearly just hating on people who win for no reason, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So happy he re-signed with Mercedes, and hopefully we can see the title fight continue for the rest of this year and it, you know, carry on into the next 2 years. A photo I took of Raikkonen, Schumacher, and Alonso at the Syrian GP like it's 2005. Damn, that's a sick picture. Max Verstappen in front of a sea of orange during qualifying. Dude, 100% capacity crowds are back for the first time since Abu Dhabi 2019. Oh, man, I miss it. You don't realize how good crowds are until they were gone. I mean, I've always loved crowds in sports, but like some people, you know, it took the COVID situation to realize how important crowds are. I mean, as much as I love crowds, I did not expect to make that much of a difference. Just the vibe of the weekend was so good. The build up before the race, the drivers getting all that adrenaline, the post race. Oh, it was so good, man. It was so good.
That was fucking awesome. Nice one.
That's so hype. Russell right now is proving that you can be in a poo-poo car and still have good results. Like, still show your worth, you know what I mean? Qualifying on mediums into Q3 at a Williams, beating a McLaren on softs and 2 Ferraris on meds. It's just insane to think about. On this day, 3 years ago, Lewis Hamilton last retired from a Formula 1 race. 3 years ago was Lewis Hamilton's last retirement. Think about that. He hasn't retired in 3 years. What? Total Wolf, we're going to Silverstone, blow everybody away, finish 1-2, 30 seconds ahead of everyone else. I want Mercedes to get back up to Red Bull's pace. With their upgrades, they should. I mean, Red Bull increased with their upgrades, so Mercedes should as well, and the championship fight will continue. Russell congratulating a witty Norris after a race.
Cheers, that's champagne. Oh, okay.
Ouch, ouch.
I didn't sweat.
Norris is so quick with it, man, with his jokes sometimes. Max Verstappen's 50th podium, man. He's only, what, 22, 23? And he's already got 50 podiums in Formula 1. That's fucking insane. Norris is the car at turn 1. Again, he's just so quick with his jokes.
Okay, what damage do you have? Talent.
Wait, all of Ferrari's 1-2 last decade. Wait, they've only had this many. 3-place group penalty for Sebastian Vettel for the incident with Fernando Alonso. Fair. I mean, yeah, as much as mostly the engineer's fault. I mean, he shouldn't be. You need to get punished for your mistake, you know what I mean? McLaren in the rain. Ooh, that's a nice picture. Holy shit. Look at that. That's so clean. George arrives in Austria today wearing the England jersey. Coming home. Is it coming home? Red Bull Ring was on fire today. It'll be mayhem if Max wins tomorrow. Dude, it was. I mean, I don't know how they're allowed flares at sporting events in Austria. In Australia, flares are banned from sporting events. So, yeah, I mean, it's sick. But, I mean, you saw the first lap. They were just driving through so much just smoke. Bought a Gasly cap online and it came autographed. Oh, pog, dude. Is that like a lucky, like, 1 every 100 caps is a sign-on? That'd be cool. Gasly surprised Leclerc wasn't investigated over collision with which ended his race. Oh, so from the Austrian Grand Prix. I agree, actually. I completely agree. I was like, wait, I just realized Leclerc didn't get investigated for his incident with Gasly. It's interesting. Maybe they were just like, yeah, first lap incident, who gives a fuck? Or maybe they thought they were both to blame because Gasly did come slightly over left, but I don't know. It should still be investigated 100%. Carl Sainz is putting a lot of pressure on Leclerc and he's actually showing he is one of the best. Yeah, Sainz is fucking killing it in that Ferrari. He's picked up that car so well. My roommate 3D printed this picture of Senna that when held up in the light shows the clear image. That's fucking sick. What the hell? I agree with most of what this guy just said. Completely agree. They're actually sticking to the rules, and I fucking love that. And for Crofty and DeResta actually pissed me off. Like, if both of them kept saying, oh, racing this, racing that. But exactly as this guy said, if the ruling is you're not allowed to push people wide and drivers know that, they're going to stop pushing people wide, which encourages racing. Imagine how sick of a battle Perez and Leclerc would have had if he didn't get pushed wide twice. Imagine how good of a battle Perez and Lando would have had if he wouldn't get pushed wide. You know what I mean? It's good. Like it. I like it. Alonso, I'm a bit frustrated about the first turn. I passed Ricciardo and Leclerc. They went over the track limits and ended up 7th and 8th. It's interesting. For the next races now, I know where I can just leave the track. I keep learning things. Yes, I agree. I understand first laps and stuff. You know, you got to be careful going out wide and stuff, but some people gain a fucking shitload amount of time. Crazy. Shout out Honda, dude. They're fucking killing it this year. All right, F1 fantasy team time. Let's have a look at our team. My fantasy team this week, 191 points. I think this is my first time looking at it. Wow, I'm actually fucking quite happy with it. I'm not going to lie. Norris, obviously finishing P3, 31 points. Max, P1, 49 points. Perez, unfortunately, finishing in P6 in the end with 2 penalties, 14 points. Gasly, 15 points in P9, not too bad. Red Bull, 63 points. And then Russell, 5 points. Actually, now thinking about it, this team isn't that great. Now, I turboed Perez because I expected him to finish 2nd or 3rd this race, but obviously he got pushed out by Norris, so he ended up getting 6th place, but then he also loses points for 2 penalties. So yeah, a bit of a tough one having turbo driver on Perez and even just having Perez in general on my team. But hey, I'm happy with this team going into the race. Who would have predicted that would have happened to Perez? You know what I mean? Norris, I mean, it would have been more beneficial to turbo driver Norris, but I did think Perez is going to finish in front of Norris. Russell, now I picked Russell instead of Giovinazzi. I couldn't afford Tsunoda and I didn't want to go with Schumacher. So I have to have a look at the other points to see if it was worth doing Russell or not. But I expected Russell to qualify just on the edge of Q3 or get into Q3, which he did. And I expected him to hold positions, but he lost a few too many positions. So that's probably why he lost quite a few points this week. And then Gasly had a pretty good race, so I'm happy with picking him. Anyways, let's see how everyone did in the league. Man, I've dropped from 5th to 7th last week and now down to 9th. Okay, so we are just behind Bluey and just in front of Addy. So we're currently about 40 points behind the leader, which is James. James doesn't even watch Formula 1. What is this? What is James's team this week? He had Verstappen, Norris, Turbo, Sainz, Gasly, Russell. Okay, that's a really, really good team. The top team of the week is Choose Christians. He Mega Drivered. But the reason it would have been at the top was because of Mega Driver. But the leader without Mega Driver was Akabob. He actually beat James's team. He had Verstappen, Norris not Turbo Drivered, Sainz Turbo Drivered, Gasly, Giovinazzi, Red Bull. Wow. Okay, so if he had a Turbo Norris, that would have been fucking insane. But it seems like him picking Giovinazzi picked up a lot of points. So for me this week, swapping out Giovinazzi for Russell was a bit of a mistake in the end. But hey, that's fantasy team. F1 play. How do we do? Let's have a look-see. So we got 6 out of 10. Our second 6 out of 10 of the season. I think my highest ever is 7 out of 10 last season. So no one got 10 out of 10. No one got 9 out of 10. 0.03 got 8 out of 10. 0.75 got 7 out of 10. And then 5%. We're the 5% lads. It's got 6 out of 10. The majority got 4 out of 10 this week. Let's have a look. What do we get? We got Max Verstappen in P1. I got that correct. I didn't get Perez getting P2. We got Lando getting P3. Fastest lap I put as Hamilton instead of Max.
I should have guessed Max was going to be so far in front, but I thought Lewis was going to do some fucky shit. Got Lando correct. We got Alonso. I didn't get the retirement right, but that's always fucking random anyway, you know what I mean? I just threw Bottas out there. We then didn't get 60 out of 20 right because only 19 finishes. We got safety car right and the margin right. Dude, imagine if I had to guess Max right for that. That would have been a banging week. Getting the finishes right, the first to retire is almost fucking impossible. Even fastest lap is sometimes hard to get. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Anyways, let's go have a look at how everyone did in the league. Buamo, good jokes on myself on 6 out of 10. Nice. We got Fionn, Kelly, Heggs, and Matthew Willis on 5 out of 10. Quite a lot of people on 4 out of 10, 3 out of 10, 2 out of 10. And then these guys not doing their teams as fucking usual. Come on, lads, do your teams. Yeah, obviously there's no prize for F1 play in comparison to F1 fantasy. So I can understand why people don't do them. They just focus on fantasy instead. That or everyone just sucks. But no, it would be people not doing them. Guys, that's going to conclude the Formula 1 Austrian Grand Prix review. The 9th Grand Prix of the season. Yeah, what a Grand Prix it was. What a weekend it was, I should say. I mean, qualifying was one of the best qualifyings I've watched, and the race was really, really good. I rank it personally in as a B+ Grand Prix. Fantastic triple header. I'm absolutely exhausted. 3 weekends of Formula 1, long ass streams, 3 Grand Prix reviews. But yeah, appreciate every single one of you tuning in to the streams each week and watching the Grand Prix reviews as well. In 2 weeks' time, we'll be at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix, and it'll be the first time we get to see the new format of sprint qualifying. So I'm keen. I'm looking forward to it. As usual, on stream, we'll be doing watch along for the entire weekend, and then the Grand Prix review following on the Wednesday. So yeah, I'll see you guys all there.
I'm stuck inside of these walls with you. I don't recognize who